Our van build was truly one of the most amazing things I've done in the last 12 months. With my girlfriend Bianca, I've bought an old fire truck from the voluntary fire brigade with no more than 25,000 kilometers on it, and it was always inside. We couldn't wish for a better purchase. Today I want to take you through a small tour through the van where I give you all our van build costs. When we had the idea of building our own van, we had no idea how much this would cost. Our estimation was very low, and this made sure that we found some great budget options. When you're doing a van build, a good planning is essential to keep your costs low. Before we get started, I want to say you don't have to do the van build exactly like ours. You can, but you don't have to. You can do a van build for like 500 euros, and you also can do a van build for like 50,000 euros. It's all up to you and what you want in your van, of course. What we wanted was some comfort and no worries about electricity or water for at least 4 days. So that keeps us off campings and we can park in the wild as much as possible. And that's what we want, right? Freedom for a cheap price. So this was a must in our van build, and it must happen for a reasonable price. This was hard, but it is possible. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to explain all our van build costs and why we made them. In the description below you find an overview of all the products we've used, so you can look them up on the internet. Some of the links are affiliate links, so I might earn a little commission out of it, but it is without any extra cost for you. Keep in mind that the amounts are in euros, so if you want to translate it to US dollar, it's plus 20%. Before you can start with van building, you need to clean and prep your van, of course. For this we spent only 68 euros. This was because we have a 1982 van, but with only 25,000 kilometers on it, and it was a fire truck from the voluntary fire brigade, and it was always inside. So this step was cheap and only cost us a couple of days. What we did do at this point was paint the chassis with metal paint, so it's protected from rain and moisture and whatever. This only takes a couple of hours, so I definitely recommend doing this. If you have a newer car, then you probably don't have to do this, but we have an old car and we could see straight through our van when we took out the floor. So if you have an old van, make sure to do this. Okay, next up, windows, or in our case, window, because we've only added one window in the ceiling. It's a Dometic Mini Heikki style window. It costs 147 euros in total. The window itself is 130 euros, but you need to make a wooden frame and you need to use some kit, so that's why in total it's 147. Definitely recommend putting in a window because you can get the bad smells out and you can look at the stars, so that's really nice. To get the bad smells out, you need to open up a window somewhere else as well. You can do this by installing another window or just a ventilation shaft, or in our case we just open up a window in the cabin. Okay, cooling and heating. We spent only 60 bucks on this. For cooling we have a ventilator, it was only 10 bucks. You can go a lot more expensive for cooling, of course, when you buy an air conditioning, but you might need a bigger battery to power this, or you need to be in campgrounds a lot more often. For heating we have a gas heater that was only 50 bucks. You cannot use this during the night because it's on gas and it might be dangerous when you fall asleep. But for now it works just fine because we're not in winter conditions that much. If you are, you might need a diesel heater. I read some really good reviews about the Chinese diesel heaters, so I might install it in one of our next van builds. Okay, electricity. We spent 1401 euro on this. This might seem like a lot, but it isn't actually. You can go a lot more expensive, and because we found some great budget options, we were able to keep the costs low. For the batteries, we have AGM batteries in total of 280 amps. These were 380 euros altogether. Before I had a deep cycle battery of 230 amps. I was happy with this, but we could only go 2 days without any type of charging, and I wanted a bigger one, and I found some really good and cheap AGM batteries. We charged these batteries through a solar panel. It's 150 watts and was only 110 euros. You need a solar charger, and we've chosen the Victron MPPT charger. What's amazing about this device is that you connect your phone through Bluetooth and you can see the charging and the status of your batteries. The solar charger was actually more expensive than the solar panel, and it was 120 euros. But definitely worth his money, and I didn't want to go with the budget option. We also charge the batteries when we're driving, and we do this through our relay. It's a smart device that you put between your starter batteries and your leisure batteries. In van life, this is definitely a must, because if there's no sun and there's no campground, you can always charge your batteries while driving. And the price for this device is only 48 euros, so I definitely recommend doing this. If you have a newer car, I think Euro 4 or Euro 5, this device is a lot more expensive because you need the DC-DC chargers. But even then, I would definitely recommend installing this in your van. And the last option we have to charge the batteries is through a 230 main hookup on a campground or just at someone's house. In order to do that, you need an input box on the side of your van. That was 21 euros, and you also need a circuit breaker for safety reasons, and that was 80 euros. After this, you need a battery charger, and our battery charger is also our inverter, and we spent 350 euros for this. And to connect everything together, you need wires, of course, otherwise it's just devices in your car, and for this we spent 80 euros. This electrical system makes sure that we can charge our devices through the 12 volt plugs or the 230 volt plugs. We have 2 next to the bed, and we have 3 230 volt plugs. If we don't drive and there is no sun, we can stay in one place for 4 days. After that, we need to drive or we need to go to a campground to get some electricity. Until now, it's never happened that we run out of electricity. If you want to stay warm when it's cold outside, or you want to have a cool van when it's warm outside, you need insulation. And for this we spent 851 euros. For the floor we've used pair insulation plates. They cost 90 euros. Normally they go into the roofs of houses, but we've put it into our floor. For the ceiling and the walls we've used Armaflex and sheep's wool. The Armaflex costed 266 euros. The Armaflex is really easy to apply because on one side they just have a sticky side and just put them on the wall. And for the sheep's wool we spent 120 euros. Because we have an older van and when we took out the floor we could see straight through. So we needed to make a bottom floor. We've done this with keycairn. It's hard plastic of 3mm thick. And we've spent 180 euros on this. And also we've used anti-drumming plates. Because the body of old vans are really thin, you need to put some extra weight on it. This extra weight reduces the noise while driving. These plates were 112 euros. For the floor we've used 12mm thick plywood. I definitely recommend going with 18mm because on some places you feel the floor bend a bit. This 12mm floor was 114 euros. For the walls we've used 5.5mm thick plywood because they bend a bit and our bus is a bit oval. For this we spent 120 euros. For the ceiling we've used slats, and the nice thing about these slats is that they have a natural wood color and we really wanted that. It's a bit more expensive than, for example, plywood. We spent 160 euros on this. When you're building your own van, you're probably gonna build your own furniture as well. For this we've used poplar plywood. The nice thing about poplar plywood is that it's lightweight, but it's also very strong. For this we spent 327 euros. So now you're already a long way into your van build and you can start looking for appliances. For this we spent 753 euros. And this is really low because if you buy a Dometic fridge, you already spent more than 1000 euros. For our fridge we spent 230 euros. It's a compressor cool box. And it's a MobiCool B40. It runs at 230 volts and also at 12 volts. At 230 volts it can go minus 15 degrees Celsius. We never do this, but it's nice to know that it is possible. And when it's on 12 volt it can only go 20 or 25 degrees below the outside temperature. Our fridge always runs at 230 volts and we've calculated this into our battery system. Our toilet costs 90 euros. It's a chemical toilet, a Tedford 365. And it's a lot cheaper than the compost toilet, because for a compost toilet you can spend like 1000 euros. That's also one of the reasons why we've chosen it. A compost toilet is better for the environment, but if you use an organic chemical, then the chemical toilet isn't that bad in the end. You do need to empty a chemical toilet a lot more often than a compost toilet. But we can go like 4 or 5 days with our toilet and that's good enough. For cooking we went with a budget option. We have a portable cooking stove. And it was only 40 bucks. For gas we have a butane tank and we have a propane tank. The butane tank was 90 euros and the propane tank was 75 euros. Also you need a pressure regulator for your tanks and it was 20 euros. For our water system we have a 30-liter tank and we just have a normal water tap, so our pump needs to give at least 2 bar of pressure. And also we can shower outside and we have a gas boiler that we can use for warm showers. For the total water system we spent 208 euros. So the last box is others and this is 360 euros. This includes the vinyl floor, the lighting, the curtains, everything else to connect everything together, like screws and nails of course, and kit. Our van build in total was 4,260 euros, so that's under the 4.5k and we're really happy with this. So it is possible to have a lot of comfort and a lot of electricity and enough water for under the 4.5K. If you want to see more of the inside or you want to see how everything functions, we've made a van tour. Bianca, my girlfriend, is giving that tour. It's really nice, so definitely check it out. So if you have any questions, just drop them below and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, so give us a thumbs up. Or if you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. So good luck with your van build and make sure you enjoy it. And for now, just bye.